And here we go again.
Well, I had to leave Streamlabs a while ago because they require PayPal, and PayPal deplatformed me.
What the fuck what the hell did you do to get deplatformed from PayPal?
You know that
It's always the same story. It's unspecified hate speech.
Which makes no sense.
Wow.
Right. No, it's just it's they don't, and they never give. Here's what's weird. So, like for DLive, when I got kicked off at DLive, so DLive was it still is. It's like kind of a small platform for people who've been kicked off of other platforms. Like if you haven't been kicked off of Twitch or YouTube, you have no reason to be on DLive in the first place. So DLive's entire user base are basically people who've been kicked off of other platforms.
Okay.
So when I first went to DLive, there were people who were. Here's a tactic that basically SJWs do to get you kicked off. It pisses me off because there's literally nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
They go into your comment section, they say a bunch of N-word this, Nazi this, and then they screen cap what they themselves said and turn your channel in to get you in trouble for what they did.
Sounds about right.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Even if you ban them within a minute, they still have the screen caps, and most people in these platforms, they don't care. They don't even check in with you to get your side. They just immediately suspend or ban you. They take this person's word for it. They have it down to a science. Now, when I first got on DLive, this happened. I was getting raided by these, white nationalists. But the guy at DLive actually reached out to me, and so I thought we had a good relationship. I would check in with him in case there was an incident, just to make sure we were cool. But then after the incident, I just got unceremoniously deplatformed with a form saying unspecified hate speech. And the guy, everyone at DLive was aware of my content. I've been there for months. So it was just I'm on whatever list. There's a list. There's a naughty list, and I am on that list. So I can't. I've been kicked off of PayPal, Facebook, Twitter. I lost my secondary channel. The only people ask me, why do you just upload sex toy reviews to YouTube? There's two reasons. One, I still want to maintain the sub count so I could reach out to announcements and stuff like that. But then also it's kind of funny how sex toy reviews are fine. I could review sex toys all day. YouTube has no problem with that. I just reviewed a torso doll that you could put on an anime body pillow the other day. YouTube has no problem with that. But if you talk about maybe universal suffrage was a bad idea, you get completely booted. It doesn't matter what, and the worst part is I don't say what I say out of hate for anyone. There are consequences when you live by ideals which don't correspond to reality.
Correct.
Just like someone who, people back in the day before the Wright brothers, people would dress up in bird costumes and jump off of cliffs trying to fly, and they would crash to their death. That's the consequence when you don't live in the real world. You don't have an accurate model of reality. You make poor decisions, and people get hurt.
Yeah.
But
because gravity always works, bitch.
Yes, it does.
It always works.
So, well, anyway, but
good times.
What's funny is my channel's been dying, and then you and Better Bachelor, and there's a couple other channels that have basically leapfrogged, and now most people don't even know who I am anymore. MGTOW's completely gone over here, and I'm the old timer. I remember back in my day, we used to talk about feminism
when I was your age.
Yeah, I mean that's a valid critique right there.
Yeah. We do have a question for you there. I don't know what I should call you. Turd, flinging, TFM?
TFM's fine.
TFM is fine?
You can call me whatever you want.
It'd be funny to call you Turd, but I'll call you TFM.
You call me
we
Turd,
have a question from one of our wrenches. They want to know what happened with the falling out that you had with DDJ, if that was ever resolved or anything like that.
I mean, I don't give second chances when it comes to betrayal.
Ooh,
so
that's a good policy.
People can make mistakes. You say something out of anger. You get drunk. You punch your buddy in their face. That kind of stuff is fine.
Pop's never done that.
Mistakes happen. Emotions run high. You don't accidentally betray someone.
No.
Well, all right. First of all, who is DDJ?
He was. I had a co-host back in the day. I don't like talking to myself. I prefer to have someone to talk to. So I like to do shows with people.
Okay.
So DDJ was like my co-host back in the day, and we had really good chemistry. He had like a background in law, so he would give good insight when it came to, um, like family court and stuff like those kinds of issues, which is good because I don't have a background in that. So
Okay.
we kind of complemented each other, and I thought we had good chemistry. But he decided that like I'm not 100% what the plan was. Here's my running hypothesis is that he wanted to, so he wrote some books. He's an author.
Okay.
And he wanted to distance himself from me so he could ingratiate himself with another group so that he could sell his books using their connections. Basically, by joining this other group, he could sell more books to that kind of group of people. And so he kind of stabbed me in the back and talked a bunch of shit. And the thing is when he left the show, he told me because like he had this book and he was supposed to be working on an audiobook.
Uh-huh.
So he told me he was going to be taking some time off to work on his audiobook, and that I took him at his word. I didn't think there was any kind of issue. But then he started making these attack videos about making all kinds of accusations that he knew wasn't true. And so he made his bed. He tried to kind of bait me in to try to like start some drama, but I made one video, I just laid it out, and then I just dropped it. And I actually haven't talked about it since
Okay.
because it's just
Listen, I understand.
you gotta just
I got you.
when it comes to betrayal, you just gotta fucking bury it and just move the fuck on and
move
never
on.
look back.
Drive
There's
on.
nothing else to say.
Well, I'll be honest, bro. If you need some help, just feel free to let me know. I'll be on the show with you anytime.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I have an open door policy. Now, back when my channel was like big and like people used to come on my show all the time, now my audience is like it's like half of what it was on D Live, which is well, actually D Live I was doing pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I think D Live I might have actually grown my channel significantly higher than because it's like usually when I when I get kicked off of a platform, I lose about 90% of my audience. Then I have to slowly build it back up, and then I get kicked off of that platform, and it's like constantly. It's like pruning a tree. I keep growing back, but they keep pruning me down every time I get kicked off for unspecified hate speech.
That's
But you're
basically
welcome.
us, too.
You're welcome on the show whenever you want.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to us too. We were doing phenomenally well there for a little while. It's almost like we got back into
Our groove.
onto the good boy list,
Uh-huh.
and then all of a sudden, right around the stunning and brave and totally fair election, honk honk, we got kicked off one week so that we couldn't broadcast during the week of the election because we flat out said we're probably going to do an election stream, maybe not, don't know. Couldn't do that. And then we were back for 1 week, and then one of our most innocuous milquetoast videos got leveled for hate speech, and we were off for 3 weeks after that.
And what was that one called?
Don't marry her.
Yeah, don't marry her.
Well, they get you for anything. Like the only reason why I kept my channel is I basically had to delete all my videos. Setting them to private does nothing. You actually have to delete the videos completely. So if you're wondering why my channel only has like 30 videos and they're all sex toy reviews, I had to delete all my videos. Essentially, if I didn't, my channel would have been deleted.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, there needs
So,
to be
you know, and
messed up
I'm a
episode.
trans woman. I can't even get that. Did nothing. No trans shield whatsoever.
That's hilarious.
No shield for you. No victimhood.
I remember
They don't give a shit.
we were starting to get going down that road, and then I started with the Popp Culture and the Live from the Lair, and I'm telling army stories, mixing it up. And I think I was able to throw them off the scent long enough with just the army stories.
But then
Well,
the election came along, and they just didn't care what we were doing.
Correct.
So here's the thing. I mean, this is this is kind of like I don't know how you're gonna take this. Maybe you'll agree with me. Maybe you won't. Maybe we could talk about it. But here's the thing. The 2020 kind of showed me once and for all that it's pretty much over. Like the culture war is over. Like we lost. We don't have the numbers. The right are at best complete pussies. who talk a big game and then cuck out at the last minute. At worst, they're controlled opposition who are just basically corralling us to be fucked over. And so I've just kind of dusted my hands off when it comes to politics. I still want to be aware of the political situation because we need to be aware of like how far we are when it comes to acceleration. But there's no path where we take back the country or like it's over. Like, and they're going to make all the Mexicans legal. They're going to turn Puerto Rico and DC into states. They're going to stack the court. If the Supreme Court stands in their way at all, they'll just stack the court. There's no path. And also, like, Texas is going to be blue, probably by the next election. All these people from California and New York are going to Texas and Florida. Like, those states are going to be blue, and then it's over. The Republicans might be able to remain viable if they take a very hard left turn and basically become democratic socialists. So it's going to become like Europe, where you have the communists on one side and you have the democratic socialists on the other side. But no matter who wins, the people who believe in freedom and traditional values, they lose. And that's kind of where we are. And
Correct.
People are mad that they want to do something, but this 2020 kind of showed that there's nothing to do. There's no opposition. Like, we can't. And if you try to do something, like try to organize something, there are CIA glowies everywhere, and they have eyes on you. I promise you.
Oh yeah.
And you're not gonna do shit. Like, you saw people who went to the rally on the 6th. They didn't do anything illegal. They just went to the rally, and they're being investigated for domestic terrorism. They have the National Guard still at the Capitol. All protests are canceled. Like, what do you think you're going to do? Like, your own side, the people you need to be with you aren't with you. There's nobody with you. The numbers, you could be like, well, you're quitting. You're being demoralized. Now, this is maybe you can give me some perspective, because I know you've talked a lot about like your bug out bag and you're organizing your little Pops preppers stuff, which is actually really good content, because that's something I'm a little bit rusty on and not an expert on. So I really like that you're doing that content.
Uh-huh.
But here's what I see. Like, you're making your videos, or you're talking about getting your caches together and getting, your little groups together and, training and getting ready to basically get out of there so you could survive and protect people you care about. And I've kind of been saying the same thing. Where other people are saying, like, I'm a quitter and I'm a pussy and I need to stay and fight. And it's like, well, I mean, I don't want to pull this card, but the people who've actually been to war are saying one thing, and all the 20-somethings who have only played Call of Duty, they're all like ready to fight this war when they're outnumbered, I don't know, at least 4-1.
Well,
against the most militant government in the world history, with a surveillance state monitoring everything you do.
All right, hang on.
With
what you're saying is very true. But all right.
Okay.
When gas prices go to $10 a gallon, when you can't heat your house or feed your family, it doesn't matter how much of a surveillance state they have. It doesn't matter about their armies or what a National Guard, because a lot of people in the middle who are neutral and not doing anything will be awakened. And that is when you will see crazy shit ensue.
Yeah, but here's the problem. I mean, like that kind of mob, let's call it like the French Revolution. We'll go with that. So that kind of French Revolution style action doesn't lead to a restoration of the Republic. It leads to like the Red Terror. It leads. So you'll have, like, you see this right now. Look at the American people. The American people are very angry at the government. But what are they angry about? Are they angry about the lack of freedom? No, they're angry that their stimmy checks are late. They're angry that their student loans aren't being forgiven.
You're correct.
They want more welfare. They don't care about their freedom. They want more free shit.
Yes, until the country goes bankrupt. Now, I have a saying about this. The coffers of this country, they will indeed run dry. But don't you worry, they will be fed. And that price will be high. It will be blood and lead. I'm telling you, when you piss off enough people, it's going to be bad, bro.
It happened in France.
But
and those people love to surrender.
Uh-huh.
but here's the problem. The average American, yes, when look at Venezuela. The people in Venezuela, basically they've eaten their pets, they've eaten the zoo animals. I don't know if it's gone full cannibal there, like it did in like the Ukraine during Stalin,
Well, I'm sure they're on their
but
way.
it might. What?
I'm sure they're well on their way.
Well, maybe. But here's the thing. The Everyone who's in Venezuela now supported Chavez and Maduro. They're only opposing them now because there's no food and the hyperinflation, they can't afford to live, and all the women are whoring themselves out in Colombia. But
So
all of
they're
them
getting eaten
supported
in a way.
communism.
Uh-huh.
You what?
So they're getting eaten in a way.
Someone's getting a feast down in Colombia.
Somebody getting a
Uh,
visa to there.
Yeah.
but the thing is the American people, they when the starvation happens, they aren't going to embrace the republic and the principles of the founding fathers and capitalism. They're going to say, "Oh, this didn't work. This is capitalism's fault. We need communism," because that's what I hear all the time.
Uh-huh.
The people, they're mad that they're not getting their stimmy checks and their free stuff. They blame the system, they blame the boomers, they blame everybody. But the solution is always more free stuff for me. And when the money runs out, let's say that the American people do rise up and do form an angry mob, and they go in and they just go ham and they start killing and burning everybody. Okay, so the government's collapsed. What type of government do you think they're going to? The people who have been conditioned to demand welfare and to be taken care of and have been conditioned to blame capitalism for everything. You think they're going to restore America? Or
Well,
you
we'll
think they're going
see.
to turn it into like the Red Terror after the French Revolution, where everyone just kills each other, blaming each other until someone like Napoleon comes and restores order?
Hmm. Well, I'm going to be honest. It's not going to be pretty, but it will probably come back. It'll just take a while, and a lot of people going to die.
Well, I agree. A lot of people are going to die. I just here's my plan. So I know you're doing the whole like you got your caches and you're gonna make little groups in Michigan and that's all good. So I use this analogy during World War II. You had like the Nazis took power in 1933, and then for about 5 years, the Jews were getting kind of screwed with. But then in 1937 or 38, I want to say it might be 38, was what's called the Night of Broken Glass. Now the Night of Broken Glass is basically when the Jews realized they needed to go. It was like there were the Jews who left, they sold their stuff and got out of Germany, and they were able to keep most of their wealth. They had to sell whatever, but they were able to leave fairly easily. After the Night of Broken Glass, it was like, you got to get out now. And so a lot of people just left with nothing but the shirt on their back. They had to leave everything behind, but they were alive. And then after the Night of Broken Glass, that's when the Jews started getting rounded up. So then you had groups of Jews that were resisting. Now they got killed, like the Warsaw Ghetto is the most famous one, where they realized they were going to get killed. So they decided to like resist. They held out for like a month, but they were eventually all killed. And they didn't do anything. Like they didn't like wound the German war machine. They just held out for a month and were killed, I guess, more slowly. But at the end, they died as men. They died a warrior's death, but that's really all they accomplished. And then, of course, the last group are the ones who just got in the oven. And so the question is, what group of Jews do you want to be? Do you want to be the Jews who left early, were able to keep most of their wealth and escaped? Do you want to be the Jews who left with nothing but the clothes on their back? Do you want to be the Jews who fought bravely and died on their feet, but ultimately accomplished nothing other than dying a warrior's death? Or do you just want to get in the oven? And I'd rather be in the first group. So rather than trying to organize something, like I give people 5 options, and I'll float these by you. So option 1 is start a no-go zone, which is very hard to do. You need like thousands of people. Groups like the Amish have one. The Orthodox Jews in New York City have one. The Muslims in Europe have no-go zones where basically they do whatever they want and the government leaves them alone. These exist all over the place. It's all about numbers and community. If you have the numbers, the government will leave you alone. As long as you don't talk about secession. The problem is when you start talking about secession, then the government has to come in and shut you down because they can't let you leave and take their land and their tax revenue with them. So that's option 1, but that takes a lot of people. Unless you are already part of a group, probably not going to happen. You can go off grid and just chill out in the woods until everything blows over. But then, of course, you're just hoping nobody looks for you. But if someone finds you, you're by yourself or you have a very small group, you're kind of easy pickings at that point. So not ideal. You can leave the country, but then you have to worry about, how you're going to get your stuff out, how you're going to move your wealth over. You're going to have to worry about, immigration restrictions, learning a new language, learning new culture. And then when shit hits the fan, being a minority, and I don't mean like non-white, I just mean being a minority anywhere. If you stick out, if you don't blend in with the general population, when shit hits the fan, trust is a premium. And if you look different or act different or sound different, people are going to look at you suspiciously if anything happens. If the fucking crops don't come in that year, you're a witch, that kind of stuff. You don't want to do that. So you don't want to be a minority. So you want to go where you have people, where you kind of can blend in and assimilate fairly easily. Barring that, you could get a van house or an SUV, like converted it into like somewhere you could live. That way, if you have to live in the city, you could at least leave with your stuff. Like I know you did that video where you have like your backpack and you're prepared to get out on foot and hike to wherever you're going. But if you have all your stuff in an SUV or a van, and you can leave right as things start to pop off, you could just be 100 miles away before things get too bad, and you have all your stuff with you. You didn't have to bury stuff along the way and hike out of there on foot. So those are my solutions.
I mean, those are actually valid arguments. Okay, but what we have laying before us is there'll be similarities, but it will not be the same as shit that happened in the past. Okay, unless the government is successful at disarming the entire population.
Well, they don't. So they don't have to. Here's the thing: they are going to do gun control. They have the numbers in the House and the Senate. No one's going to stop them. And the states have no rights. The states thinking they're going to do like a sanctuary state that only works for the left, and that's because the Republicans are terrified of the media. So, you have leftist states saying we're not going to enforce immigration law, and they dare like the right to come in there and enforce immigration law because the media is going to be there talking about Nazis and whatever. And so the right always pushes out because they're afraid of the media calling them Nazis, even though they call them Nazis anyway. When the right, let's say Florida, for example, because the governor's pretty based. Let's say the Florida governor is like, screw your gun control. We're declaring Florida a gun sanctuary state, and we don't recognize blah, blah, blah. They will send the National Guard into Florida.
Good luck.
Without any hesitation. They will.
I understand that, but you're talking to an actual warrior here. I know how war works.
Well.
And that's going to be very tough. Very tough.
All right. Well, here's what I see. Like, and this is everyone talks this like from my cold dead hands stuff, but I remember I think it was January 2020, the red flag protest in Virginia. That was when I knew that the Civil War was canceled. When there was that red flag law and all these gun owners came out to protest, and they put the little, neon orange plug in their trigger guard to make sure that everyone knew the gun was safe. There were snipers on the roof. They were ready for something to happen, but no one did anything. Everyone, they cleaned up after they were done. They went home after their protest. The governor passed the law anyway, just ignoring the protest, and nothing happened.
Correct.
The protesters didn't come back and be like, "Oh, we warned you, bitch. Now you're going to die."
I understand, but
no gas were busted. No caps were busted.
Like I said earlier,
mofos weren't sent to Jesus.
Yeah, like I said earlier, when the gas goes to $10 a gallon, you can't heat your house, you can't feed your family. It's a whole other ball game.
When people suffer, minds tend to change.
Yes,
they're going to ban the guns before the money runs out. Like they're probably going to go for gun control this year. They have the numbers. The right is completely not going to do shit. So
only if they manage to change filibuster in the Senate,
which they probably will.
Which
you got a valid argument there.
They're going to try, but I mean, when you actually look at the numbers for who used filibuster the most in the past year, Democrats used it 320 times. Republicans 1. So if they get rid of it, guess who's fucked?
It doesn't matter. Like, I know it's sad, but like, no, the Democrats have elections don't matter anymore.
You're absolutely
I
correct.
know elections don't matter,
So
but no gun control the kind of gun control that they're talking about can only be passed with a constitutional amendment, which can only be done if they fuck the
no,
filibuster and get rid of it.
they can just stack the court and have the justices
Yeah.
rewrite the Constitution. They don't need an amendment.
No,
They
Which is
haven't
basically what
passed an
happened with the
amendment
last
since
election.
decades.
listen, yeah, you're absolutely correct. They could do all this shit, but the minute you start
Yeah.
fucking with the Constitution of the country, you're gonna start to see a lot more people get more stiff-lipped about this shit.
You're okay, but here's the thing. This is like no one's going to do anything.
You're
Everyone
right.
talks
No,
a big
right
game
now, no
about
one is going to do anything because gas is what an average of $2.50 a gallon.
It's gone up a
well,
buck since
but by the
Biden took office.
by the time the hyperinflation hits, the guns will already be gone.
No, they won't.
Um, okay, I I'll
Uh,
bet you $1 that I'm right.
Thing is, you can attempt gun confiscation, attempting something, passing legislation that people will actually listen to and comply with. That's something else entirely.
You don't have to. No, you don't have to go door to door. Like, look at what happened with the red flag laws. Your Karen neighbors who know you're a Trump voter or who know you're a veteran, who know you own guns, the Karens of the world will rat you out and turn you in. You saw this with the whole domestic terrorism thing. There were like children who were turning in their parents for going to the Trump protest. Like it's like the Hitler Youth. They're going to recruit the children to be like, oh, does your mommy and daddy have a gun at home? Oh, tell your teacher. And this, so once the Karens, so you're going to get turned in. And when the cops are at your door knocking and they're coming to take your guns. All right. So if you have a no-go zone, which no one does, aside from a few groups, the community can tell the cops to go fuck themselves, and that's fine. But that's not going to happen. So the cops are banging on your door. Police open up. They're coming to take your guns.
Uh-huh.
You're going to give them the one end or the other. But if you give them the business end, then that's where your story ends. And then the entirety of the right will disavow and call you domestic terrorists, and they'll all cuck out as they always do. And once a few examples are made, the rest of the right will because the right will be like, oh my God, they're coming for our guns. It's just like the simulation, guys. It's time to rise up and refresh the tree of liberty. And all the rest of the right will fucking look down at their tiny micro penis that has inverted itself into a mangina and be like, oh, not me. Won't someone not me do something? And then the few people who are willing to stand up will see that they're completely alone and outnumbered. And then that's it. That's the end. That's how basically the right will die unceremoniously with a whimper.
Well, I'm not going to say you're 100% wrong here. I'm just not going to say that. And to an extent, what you are saying will largely come to pass. But this is a big country. There's way more space that doesn't have a city in it than does.
Right.
Like New York,
Here's
they could easily go door to door. Chicago, same thing. Detroit, yes.
I have a plan.
Yeah, what?
Let me tell you, I have a plan that will basically. Here's the good news. The bad news is the right are a bunch of pussies who aren't going to do shit, and communism basically won. Even though we defeated the Soviet Union in the Cold War, the demoralization, via Yuri Bezmenov, has been
The Frankfurt
successful.
Academy, basically.
Right. So it essentially, the bad news is we can't save America. The good news is communism doesn't work. Communism and food just are like oil and water. So if we just don't die long enough, communism will burn itself out. And then we could do what I like to call Purge Day, where we basically finish off the survivors. And then we can start with like new colonies and rebuild. Cities can be rebuilt, borders can be redrawn. The people who value the values of America, like freedom, essentially freedom. That's what America was founded on. It was hijacked by progressives and turned into equality. But America was founded on freedom. And the people who love freedom and cherish freedom and value freedom, they are America. And the most important thing we need to do is not die, because if we just outlast the commies, they will starve to death. It's a textbook. A leads to B, leads to C, leads to D. And when the commies are starving to, I'll use a real world example. In Venezuela, the political right, the opposition to Chavez, they were basically purged in like 2014 and then again in 2017, like the ones who got away.
Uh-huh.
Now, they were warned to flee, but they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay and fight. This was their home, blah, blah, blah. And they were all killed. And then basically there was no political opposition. And then, they took total power. And then, the rest is history. What if the political opposition to Chavez had fled in like 2013 before they were rounded up and killed? If they came back today into Venezuela, they would be greeted as heroes. They'd be liberating their country. But if they fought in 2014, they didn't have the numbers because everybody was still in that like honeymoon phase of communism where they were getting the free stuff and everybody loved the government. Nobody wanted to listen to the people who knew how economics works. It's only when the starvation kicks in. It's only when they're, eating their pets, possibly their children.
Correct.
That they're like, oh, communism doesn't fucking work.
Listen
Someone
what I'm
warned me
telling
about
you here.
this.
All right, in this country, we have the cities, and then you have the non-cities, the flyover states. Any county without a major city in it. Those far outnumber the major cities, and the major cities are the one that's influencing a lot of this shit. And when they bankrupt this country, and people are starving, you're going to see those big cities get cut off like a cancer, and it's going to get real ugly real quick. Now, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we have a big kumbaya moment and we pull our heads out of our asses. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just a realist here.
I see America going like Stalin.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, and he'll just go in and take it. Like look what he did to the farmers, like the Ukraine. He basically forced the farmers in Ukraine to sell for less than they can grow.
After he disarmed them, yes.
They're going to. I mean, we'll see. Look, if I want to be wrong, but I've every time I believed that this is it. This is when the right's going to discover their penis again. I've always been disappointed.
You're
so we'll
correct.
see.
Don't conflate politicians with active law enforcement in red districts.
Listen. Like I said earlier, when everything that you've spent your life working for and earning is stripped away from you, people that happens to are going to get really pissed off. And we will far outnumber the people pushing those policies.
Okay, but you're assuming so the hyperinflation will come.
Yes.
But gun control will come first.
Correct. But
by the time people are ready,
but passing gun control and then confiscating every single firearm in America is a very tall order. It's not going to happen.
I mean, they don't have to go door to door. Again, what they'll do is they'll just, like what they do with knives in the UK.
Uh-huh.
And if someone breaks into your house and you defend yourself, you're going to go to jail for having an illegal gun. Even though you were using it to defend yourself against someone trying to kill or rape your family, you'll go to jail. They will make an example. They'll just take a few examples, and most people will turn in their guns to avoid the issue. And this has happened in the UK too. They took the knives away, so a guy was walking around with a narwhal tusk to defend himself.
Are you familiar?
Narwhal tusks after that.
Are you familiar with the 3 to 5% rule?
No. What is the 3 to 5% rule?
It only takes 3 to 5% of a population to neutralize the basically the ruling government. I mean, are you familiar?
I don't think that's true. I think you need a little bit more than 3 to 5% of the population.
You're talking to a guy who's I've spent my life.
The military is less than that.
I've literally spent my life in non-conventional warfare, studying it from every angle. If you have 3 to 5% of your population actively resisting, governing that population is next to impossible. It doesn't matter how strong your army is, your whiz-bang weapons or what have you. It's just not going to happen. All right, and when you're starving, most of your country, that 3 to 5% is going to be greatly inflated. Now, I appreciate your viewpoint. I really do. I mean, you have a lot of valid arguments. I don't agree with a lot of them, but, hey, this is a manosphere. I don't have to agree with everything that you say, and you don't have to agree with everything that I say. But you will have to agree with me that what we have laying ahead of us will not be the same as models to the past. There will be similarities, but it will be different.
Well, there's definitely going to be some bloodshed and a lot of dead people.
Yes.
I don't
Unfortunately.
think what's going to come out the other end of that is going to be something that resembles freedom.
Well, I'm going to be honest. If I live to the end, I'm going to do everything in my power to bring back the Constitution and the Republic for which it stands. So that's just me, though. That's just me.
Have you considered Alaska?
Well, I know a lot of guys up there. Alaska's a good place. A lot of open territory.
Mm-hmm.
But the cold and my broken body just don't mix. So
We do have a question for you in the Super Chats there,
All right.
TFM, if you're interested in answering.
All right.
Somebody was asking, because you did delete so many of your videos off of YouTube, William O'Neill donated and said he loved your early Red Pill videos. Is there anywhere that he can find them?
Well, everything has I've been auto mirroring to BitChute since 2017.
Okay.
And I have manually re-uploaded pretty much all of my videos except for like the old TFM news videos, because those articles are like years old at this point. So do you really care what my thoughts were about an article from like 2016? Probably not.
Hey,
so I
some
never
of those are
bothered to
timeless.
manually re-upload those. But all my regular stuff has all been re-uploaded to BitChute. Now I know BitChute, a lot, especially the older videos, they take forever to load, or they may not even load at all. Right, and also their search UI is terrible. Like the best way to find a video on BitChute isn't to actually go to BitChute and look for it.
It's to
Go
search
to
it on Google, yeah.
Type in BitChute turd flinging monkey and then the name of the video, and then the spiders, the web crawlers of Google, they'll find the link better than the actual search function on BitChute.
Yeah, I've said the same thing, and just because you said that, we're going to see whether or not we get kicked off the stream again here in a minute, because for some reason, every time we say "it shoot bay" on this stream, it gets terminated.
Probably.
So fingers crossed. We'll if it terminates again, we'll come back up. I'm not really sure what the heck it is. It's literally not YouTube kicking us off. My Streamlabs window disappears. It just blanks out, doesn't show me anything.
I haven't used Streamlabs in so long, because when I got kicked off of PayPal, like that's what Streamlabs uses. So I had to basically figure something else out.
Yeah.
So I haven't used Streamlabs in forever.
I get that.
You might want to look into Entropy.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be. Actually, what I was looking into for future use was OBS Live, because they have a chat function where it'll aggregate everything, which is what I've been looking for, and I can actually test the stream before I upload it without having to use a separate program. So, fingers crossed.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Monkey, let me ask you a question.
Monkey.
So,
all right.
You were working earlier. Now, you don't have to tell me exactly, what your job is and stuff, but just the basic industry. What do you do for a living?
I do monkey business.
Monkey business. All right. That's cool. Just wondering. That's cool. Now, I'm trying to remember, have you ever gone to any of the men's rights, conferences?
No.
Okay.
But, yeah, no. I respect the MRAs, and I was rooting for them. I was, like, passively hoping that somehow they'd squeak out a win, but, like, realistically, it was doomed from the start. The premise of men's rights is self-defeating.
How so?
Because it's predicated on equality. It's essentially trying to use equality to critique modern feminism, saying that feminism was about gender equality, but now modern feminism, because like Warren Farrell, he's like the father of the MRAs. He was a second wave feminist. There's all kinds of pictures of him marching with the feminists in the 60s.
On a side note, Mr. Farrell, does he or does he not have a creepy voice?
I don't know about that.
When that guy speaks, it makes my hair on the back of my neck stand up. He's just a soft-spoken creeper, man.
He might own a windowless van that says free candy on it. I don't know.
Oh, shit. When we were in Vegas, I was messing around with Donovan Sharp. He was posing for a photo, and he put two thumbs up like this. I was like, what is that, your free ice cream smile? He fucking lost it.
Oh
I
man.
was like,
Well,
dude, don't
anyway,
just
but
stick to cars
so
with windows.
so the central argument of feminism, the foundation, I can't think of another word, of feminism is about that men and women are equal, and MRAs concede that.
Uh-huh.
And their critique is that modern feminism, like third wave feminism, has left men behind, and it's become more about female supremacy. But what
Which it
that all
has.
is
Which
basically
it
an argument
has.
of means versus ends.
Okay.
Because the way feminists look at it is they, in second wave so in first wave feminism, they got the right to vote. Second wave feminism, they eliminated all the institutional barriers that were keeping them from competing with men. They changed the culture, sexual liberation. They added the family courts. They weren't dependent on men's income. They got their entire laundry list of wishes. And then decades later, they still hadn't caught up to men, because lo and behold, gasp, men and women were never equal.
They're not.
And
Well, they're not the
so
same,
now
and they never have been.
they never have been.
Yep.
So the MRAs are trying to use the argument of equality to try to like bring women back to their senses. Like, wait, remember when we were about equality? But the way the modern, well, I guess third wave, I don't even know what wave we're on anymore.
Neither do
But
I.
third wave feminism was essentially, they understood that, okay, we eliminated all these institutional barriers. We had sexual liberation. We had basically all these strong, independent women who need a man like a fish needs a bicycle for decades, and they're still getting their asses kicked by men. And so the only way they're ever going to achieve equality, and of course what they mean is equality of outcome, they want women to be
It's to
on
push
the same level as
socialism,
men.
communism.
They're going to have to cut men off at the knees. They're going
Yes,
to have
I-
to pull men down to their level. And so that's what MRAs were protesting. But they both want the same thing. They're arguing about tactics, but they have the same strategy, which is gender equality. So the MRAs were never really anti-feminist. They were just like feminist reformers. And by conceding the central argument of feminism, which is that men and women are equal, you basically gave up the war. You can't defeat feminism when you concede to their central argument. And it's not even true. It'd be one thing if it was true, but it's not true.
No, it's
Men
not.
and women aren't equal. They never were.
I
That's
agree
correct.
with you on that.
That's
100%.
absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
We can be equally important without being equal, and that's what we've been trying to get across as red pill dudes for I don't know how long. Like, hey, you do things better than we do. Like, no matter how hard I try, you're never knocking me up. I mean, you might try,
Right.
but get that
Women
needle
are
away
really
from me.
good
Get that
at
turkey
turning
baster
sperm
away
into
from me.
babies.
Take your styrofoam cup full of cum that you got at a Burger King because you're 57 years old and you still think your waxworks is actually functional, and get it the fuck away from me. I don't want it. By the way, we just recorded an episode about that. It'll be a ride and roast in a couple of weeks. I wish I was making that up, that a
Totally
57-year-old woman tried to inseminate herself with a styrofoam cup full of bazooka juice in a Burger King bathroom.
Totally true.
Totally true.
Totally true. That's
Did
disgusting.
she not know what menopause was?
I was wondering the same thing. We read the article, and I'm like, there's a word suspiciously missing from this entire article.
Yeah. Menopause. But yeah, you are correct in regards to the men's rights movement. I mean, I'm an MRA. I'm also a red pill MGTOW guy. And,
Right. Well, a lot of guys have their foot in both camps. And again, I passively supported the MRAs, but at the end of the day, like, the answer to feminism isn't equality. It's not like, what about men? What about equality for men? Because here's like, if you carry it to its logical conclusion, a lot of people are like, well, we want men to be liberated too. But then the problem is, okay, well, so if men and women are liberated, who's left to be responsible for society? Oh, no one?
It
Well,
collapses.
then how's that going to work?
it's gonna collapse. There's gonna be a bunch of bloodshed, and then it'll reset after enough time has passed.
Yeah.
That has happened before in history, and it's nothing new.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that, because it's not about liberation. It should be about accountability. Accountability for your decisions. If you make shitty decisions, you need to be held accountable for them. And if you fail, take it like a man. Wah.
They hate it when you tell them that, though. They hate it.
Right, but the problem that the MRA movement was not, so the answer is you have to restore patriarchy. You can call it traditional family values, the role of the father. It's restoring patriarchy.
Correct.
That's the only way to actually fix shit.
Because
And the
that's what
MRAs were
works.
not interested in that at all.
No,
And
they're
that's
not.
honestly, that's the only solution. So they were doomed from the start because they took the solution off the table and they wanted to argue with feminists about who was really for true equality. And so the MRAs never had a prayer.
Maybe that explains why feminists are against Islamophobia. It's because secretly, on some level, in their disgusting, unshaven, electrical tape nippled existence, they understand that patriarchy is the answer.
That might be some kind of subconscious thing. It's really more fundamental than that. So feminism is basically it's an instrument of the political left. All the big feminist movements, all the big feminist people, they're all controlled by the Democrats and the left.
Yep.
It's just like Black Lives Matter, Antifa. If you think these are like grassroots organizations that aren't funded, no, you're retarded. These are absolutely controlled. So
They're
the
grifters.
left doesn't want to. The left is not interested in fighting among itself. This is a perfect recent example is the whole like Stop Asian Hate thing. Because for years, black people have been attacking Asian people. And there was a thing recently where an Asian guy got, like how black people like to play the knockout game,
Yep.
where they walk up to you and sucker punch you. So this old Asian guy got killed. He got sucker punched. He hit the concrete and died.
We just
And
watched
the
that
Asians
video.
were finally
yeah.
like, this is ridiculous. Like, someone needs to do something about this. But notice, like, no one wanted to talk about it. No, and they even do this really weird thing where they're trying to blame white supremacy for black people assaulting Asian people, but no one was buying that. And then there was that one guy who was shot up in a massage parlor for like, I guess he was extreme nofap and he couldn't handle the temptation of having a rub and tug nearby. But after that happened, the left pounced on that and they did this whole like Stop Asian Hate thing because now they had a white face to put on it. But the years and years of black people beating up and killing Asian people, water off a duck's back.
Well, when you look at the crime
that's not
stats,
accidental.
yeah, when you look at the crime stats, the black population commits a lot of violent crime.
More than half.
Yeah, it's when you throw in the riots that the Democrats just let happen for a year and then
Stunning and
clutch their
brave.
pearls when some Trump supporters smashed a window.
Fiery
But-
but peaceful.
Yeah.
Here's the point. The point is, like, I use the Stop Asian Hate movement as an example of how the left controls the narrative. So it's not that feminism is pro-Islam. And also gays, like LGBT people are not pro-Islam. They know about the roofs. They know they're going to get thrown from the roof. They're not dumb.
And I'm
It's
not going
just
to lift
that
a finger to
left
stop
is-
it when it happens.
But the left knows how to control these groups. And if you're a random feminist, you rely on the institutional power of the feminist movement, which is controlled by the left. If you're LGBT, you rely on the institutional power that the left provides to the LGBT movement. So when they tell you you're not allowed to criticize Islam, you don't, because that what side your bread is buttered on. So it's not that saying, oh, women secretly want to be raped by Muslims. And gays want to secretly be thrown from roofs. No, they don't. It's just that
I believe I can fly.
this is all completely astroturfed. It's all communism.
Yeah.
Everything is communism.
And you're absolutely correct. When they start going for equality of outcome, that speaks of communism and socialism. Let's hit some more super chats.
Okay.
All right.
It's good
Go all
times.
night.
It's a wild night, yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Mad Hatter Matador donated $200.
God damn. All right.
Oh, I think I'm going to have a heart attack. Well, let me do a little Hank
like
Hill for you
whip
there
my
just
dick
for
out?
that. I'm sorry, what was that?
Could I whip my dick out?
I don't know. You got any sex
like I
toys
feel
over
like
there
I
you
owe
can
him.
review? I'm just asking for a friend. Drinks are on me, gentlemen. I will drink when you do. Everyone else should join if you can. Well, to tell you the truth, I'm almost out of this here Black Barrel. It's a very small bottle, but it's because Pop bought it. I got the actual adult-size bottle in the other room. It's that you bought the kid-size bottle. See, this here, this is what I would give my son if he was teething.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what you bought.
I know. I fucked
I
it.
say you fucked it up.
I did. I fucked it up, man. But listen,
You
all
guys
of the
tried
booze I
Mountain
have.
Dew Major Melon.
What?
What?
Have you tried the Mountain Dew Major Melon?
No.
Not
What's
You gotta
that?
fucking try that shit.
Oh.
Mountain
Shit's
Dew
delicious.
Major Melon?
Yeah, it's Mountain Dew, but it has like watermelon.
Oh, yeah? I'll give
It's
that
fucking
shit a go.
But does that have alcohol in it? That's the question.
That's just vodka is accessible. You just little Mountain Dew Major Melon with some vodka.
Yeah, I've been telling Pop that I need to make him an oatmeal cookie shot, but I don't want to make it with like the pussy drinks, for lack of a better term, because they want like schnapps and
You
stuff
want
like
some
that.
Everclear and that shit?
Well, it's supposed to be butterscotch and cinnamon schnapps, Irish cream, and then a splash of Jaeger. But I'm like, well, I got butterscotch whiskey and cinnamon tequila. If I can get some Irish cream and a splash of Jaeger in that, it should taste roughly the same, but it'll actually kick your ass.
Yeah.
Schnapps is like, that's the pinky out club right there. Not that Pop would know about that or anything. Go pick up that shot glass, Pop. Oh, you're deliberately keeping the pinky in, you bastard.
For the discerning alcoholic.
I know how you actually drink.
Ah, dude. I like to drink my ass off, but I can't do it tonight. I have to drive home.
Baggin says that sounds nasty. Hey, don't judge, okay, until you've actually tried it. An actual oatmeal cookie shot is fucking delicious.
I've never had one.
Oh, it's so good. It's amazing. Whether or not it'll taste good with what I'm trying to put together, I don't know. The flavors should be similar. With it being schnapps, I think it's a little bit more on the cordial side, so it may not be quite the same consistency, but I think the Irish cream should make up for that.
All right, yeah.
All right, so thank you very much to Mad Hatter Matador. That's probably the single largest donation we've ever gotten on this show.
Actually, it is.
I think so, yeah. Thank you very much. I'll switch over here to a little Gilbert Gottfried for you because we got the drinking straw. $5. The Cleveland Steamer is when one person craps on another person's chest and then sits down and rocks back and forth like a steamroller.
God damn, that's nasty. Who the hell are these people? God damn, that's making me... Oh, God.
And you know what? There was a whole other section that I had prepared for this stream that's probably not going to happen tonight because we're already pushing 10 p.m. We'll save it for Thursday. Oh, you just wait. You just wait.
Come on, man.
Dude, I'm gonna feed you like everything necessary to create a spectacular Technicolor yawn on Thursday.
God, no.
It's going to be phenomenal.
No!
Yes.
What's the next one? Move on.
What do we got here? Real Jiffy resident super chatted $10. Vegas here saw you, but when they started their crap talked, I walked out. Blah. Crap talk, I walked out. F the moolah I paid here. You guys buy more booze.
Okay.
Wow, this person has a harder time spelling than you, man.
I know. What are you going to do?
Not only one drunk, I guess.
Probably drinking too much.
Things happen. Yeah, you know what? I can't point a finger in that regard. I'm just saying.
Life's too short to proofread.
Yeah,
exactly. And life's too short not to drink. It's too delicious.
Yeah.
Matthew Sturgis donated $19.99. Apparently he thought he was buying a DVD from Best Buy. Evil Keebler Elf Fauci gets very upset when not verbally filleted. Reminds me of a doggo I knew. If I couldn't find poo to roll in, it would make do with its own.
Yeah, it's nasty.
And yes,
Is this like a competition where people just donate and say weird stuff?
They do say weird stuff, and apparently now that my thing is...
You try to make me sick.
Trying to make Pop sick. Everybody else tries to do it too.
Because I'm missing a filter from the TBI.
Yes.
So I really get
and the PTSD doesn't help either.
I have real problems with visualization.
Yeah, if you guys remember the PTSD episode, and that is actually probably my favorite visual analogy, just because I like to mentally block out the melon baller with the bratwurst.
Yeah.
When you were talking about how being in the military and having PTSD removes the filters that society sets in place so that you can block out what's inherently background noise. And then when all of that sensory overload just goes right into the brain pan, it's a really, really good, concise way of describing that, and I thought it was genius. So giving credit where credit is due.
Boom! Thank you.
Michael Pelletier donated $5. Holy shit! 1,200 people watching. Nice. We have actually gotten up to, across all platforms, 1,553.
All right.
So, not including our first stream, which was the presidential debate.
Yeah, that was
if you want to call it that.
That was 1,600 or something.
Oh, it was more than that. It was like 3,000.
Really?
That was huge. But yeah, this is the biggest audience that we've had since then. So thank you all for tuning in. TFM, people really wanted to see you tonight, man. Thank you for joining us.
That's very touching.
I don't want to hear about that coming from a guy who reviews sex toys. I'm just going to say it. I want to hear about touching. I don't want to know. Roderick Sage says, "How is
I washed
Celine?"
my hands.
I'm glad that you washed your hands. I'm not giving you no screen fives, bro.
Really? Okay, hold on. So, if you jerk off with your hand to porn, which is what most guys do, that's even worse because you're watching people fuck, which is like a cuck thing to do.
Yeah.
And you're letting a dude give you a hand job, which is gay.
I can't argue there, bro.
You're like the dude in the corner pulling his pud with tweezers, going, "I wish it with me."
That's a valid argument, brother. A valid argument.
Well, what did I think Styx Hexenhammer pointed that same thing out. He's like, if you're watching a man and a woman together, you're not watching straight porn. You're watching bisexual porn.
You're watching heterosexual porn honestly, with a gay witness.
Gay sex with a witness.
Well, I used to watch porn, and then I got my sex doll, and I don't even have why look at videos of people getting dick down when you have a 10 out of 10 waifu right in front of you. You can grab her and feel her and taste her and fuck her, and you don't need porn anymore.
Orn pay.
Oh,
I don't know why Orn pay cracks me up.
Are you really honestly? Look, here's the thing. I accept that the YouTube algorithm is gonna get me, and I don't worry about it. And then the dumb thing is channels that do, there's a lot of channels that have been jumping through the hoops and trying to censor themselves, and they're on the same list I'm on. And then when the day comes when the political winds blow, we're all gonna get kicked off together. I'm going to be reviewing sex toys and talking about what I talk about, and you're going to be minding your P's and Q's and trying to keep Susan happy. We're all going to get deplatformed together.
Pretty much,
There's no point.
I'm not arguing with you, bro.
Well, the thing is, the reason why we want to try to work around things as much as we can, because nothing ever pisses off your enemy more than fighting on their own turf. And that's why we're doing everything that we can to stay and keep talking shit and telling the truth on their own turf, because that's what's going to piss them off.
Let me give you let me give you one to grow on. So how I don't know if you're familiar with Gamergate or how the SJWs infiltrate hobbies like comic books, video games, Warhammer,
did a whole video
all these
on it, man.
different nerdy things.
Yeah.
So the people, they don't like when you enjoy a hobby or you have a fandom, and then a bunch of SJWs come in there and try to turn it into their politics. Everyone's like, hey, get the fuck out of here. Go start your own thing. Don't come into our place and try to bring your politics here. Well, when we're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, we're on these normie platforms, and we're trying to red pill people. We're the opposite side of that coin. We're on their platform, pushing our politics in their face, and they're mad at us just like we're mad at them when they come into comic books or gaming or something and try to push their politics in our face.
Yep. That is a valid argument.
So maybe we should just take our own advice and start our own shit.
I guess that's where all tech comes in, and we're there. So as soon as BitChute and Rumble have their live streaming up and running, oh man, it is game on.
Well, I just talked to Ray the other day. Ray got kicked out of his bank.
What?
His bank deplatformed him. So
wow.
Yeah, no, it's getting real. It's getting I know the leader of the Proud Boys got kicked out of his bank. So now Ray's been kicked out of his bank. So now you're gonna have to worry about. This is all the more reason never to dox yourself, because your bank can deplatform you. They can just close your account, and now you got to get a new bank account, and hopefully what if all the banks in your area just refuse to do business with you because of wrongthink on the internet, and now you can't buy stuff and pay your bills because you have nowhere to put your paycheck.
That sounds like some valid lawsuits right there.
A little bit.
Well, but they'll pull the same argument that all these social media platforms do, that they're a private company, and if every private company refuses to do business with you because of your political beliefs, they're private companies and they have the right to refuse service. I mean, you're not on, you're not on the special list of people that they have to serve, so they can tell you to go eat a dick, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So
We'll see. We'll see.
one of these days, like, I want to believe. I really, nothing would make me happier than to admit I was wrong, and that patriotic Americans, have a falling down moment and go ham. I would have a shit-eating grin for days. I would just be laughing and smiling.
Yep.
But I've been disappointed too many times.
I understand.
Haven't we all?
Haven't we all? Haven't we all? What's the next super chat?
We got Jambalolk, okay, NOK currency. I'm not sure what that is. 100. Didn't make it in time to the single-digit hours opening time for our government and monopoly-run liquor store, so no booze for me tonight. Oh man, no, that's socialism for you. Keep up the good work. Suck your thumb, I guess. I don't know.
No.
Crusader Nate, $24.99. Thank you very much. 25 towards the Uber. Find to see Evil Popp come out and play.
You don't want to see that, man. You don't want to see that.
Well, yeah, because Evil Popp is fat.
Evil Pop's fat and he's evil.
We really need to get you a different Punisher shirt because that one that you had does you no favor.
No, you're right. I was a fat fucking pig in that one. Man. Listen, man, what are you going to do? I'm fat.
When you can see someone's belly button through the shirt, you know it's too
I
much.
fucked up on that. It's too tight. I got you.
You can tell if the change in his pocket is heads or tails.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the shirt said extra large, but I actually got an extra small, and I said, fuck it, I can fit into that.
Listen, I fucked up, man. What do you want me to tell you? I'm going to tell you.
Hey, what are you going to do? Redacted donated $10.01. Very specific. For your 1,000 watching, P.S. Roku through TV stream has a delay of 15 seconds. Interesting. Cheers for Wi-Fi data. 3G Craftsman. Popp, you should be a math teacher. Your calculation of Brendan Fraser's marriage cost per pump was awesome.
There's actually quite a few of those videos, bro.
That was the only Pip-Tard Wife-Stitute to date that made the top 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought Mike Tyson would be up there.
Oh, or the Paul McCartney one, just because we coined the term circle walker.
Yeah. But of all the Pip-Tart Wife-Stitutes, listen, Tyson was a victim in that entire thing.
Yeah. But the McCartney one, that was when we actually started doing per thrust.
Yeah, it had to happen.
Well, yeah. I mean,
what's really sad is, like with Chris Rock, he did a bit talking about how divorce and you got to get a prenup.
Yep.
The dumb thing is, if you don't put a sunset clause in your prenup, the judge will throw it out as unconscionable.
Yep.
So you have to let it expire. But then once it expires,
you're fucked.
You don't have a prenup anymore. So it's like all she has to do is like bide her time for 20 years, and then she gets everything. And even if you get a prenup, it has to expire. You can't get lifelong prenups anymore because the judge doesn't. Basically, you can't win. And people ask me like, "Oh, you're giving up." It's like I'm rational.
Yes, me too.
Like it's broken. It's broken beyond all recognition. Yeah. Like you can't fix this. It's
more of that equality.
You got to just throw it out.
Yeah, more of that so-called equality that feminists say that they want so much, when really it's supremacy.
Yeah, I had somebody in my comments today call me pathetic. How I bash it on women, and I'm so against marriage, and marriage is the backbone of every civilization ever, which is totally true. And I responded with this:
until you destroy it.
Not marriage. No, like
the nuclear family. The nuclear
animals.
Family.
Yeah, animals don't have religion or government. They don't have like little ceremonies where the father gives away the bride. They don't. But yeah, they have families. The man and the woman get, unless you're talking about like isolationist species like bears or something.
Yeah.
But like sexually dimorphic species where the male is the protector and the provider and the woman bears the children, particularly in mammals, where because the woman has to bear the children and she has to carry them for a given amount of time, she's vulnerable and she requires extra calories. So this evolutionarily hardwires species for the man to provide and protect his family. And here's the thing. Here I can distill the fatal flaw in this like equality bullshit. So communism or feminism, whatever you want to talk about it, they want to have equal status, but then they also want everyone to share. And you got to pick one. So in a family, the father usually puts his life on the line, whether it's an animal, killing it, hunting it, and dragging it home, or whether it's a human father who's going to work and bring home a paycheck to feed his family. You only do that because it's your family. Just like a business owner, like if your boss asked you to stay late and work for free, you tell him to go fuck himself. But when you're the boss, when you own the company, you're willing to put in those extra hours because it's your company. You get to earn the profits, and those are your profits because you own the company. When it belongs to you, you're willing to sacrifice for it. So why do fathers take care of their children? Because they're their children. Now, when you throw all that out, when you try to get rid of inequality in status, you want men and women to be equal, you want adults and children to be equal, you want equality across the board. No one has a reason to take care of each other anymore. Everyone basically is in and for itself, which is why in the starving time in Jamestown, no one wanted to farm because there was communal property. No one saw the value in working. Everyone just sat around with their hand out and starved to death. So the other thing is, like with sharing, you can't really share unless you don't want to share unless you have unequal status. Like, I'll provide for my family. I'm not going to provide for random people who aren't pulling their weight. So you either have to have everyone be responsible for themselves in an equal society of status, or you have people sharing, but that requires hierarchy. And so the fatal flaw in feminism, communism, all this leftist utopian bullshit is they want to have it both ways. They want to have equal status and they want to get rid of hierarchy, but they want everyone to share like a family without the hierarchy, which makes the family possible.
Correct. All right, let's move on to the next super chat.
All right, sorry.
It's all right, man. That's why you're here, man. You're like the 30-pound brain motherfucker that I'm not.
That's like, you're good, but I will say this, dude. Brevity's not your strong suit. We're going to move on to Dr. Phi. Mike Kipling.
Well, I was in military intel, so.
That'll do it.
That's cool.
Pop knows what I'm talking about.
Isn't that an oxymoron, though?
Mostly.
Yeah, I got a story about
I can make a PowerPoint so good, you'll like bring it home to your mom. Like, look at this PowerPoint. It's the greatest PowerPoint I've ever seen. Like, that's what I did. That's how I served. I made PowerPoints.
Oh, yeah,
That's cool.
Kanye West will jump up on stage, be like, I'm going to let you finish, but this was the greatest PowerPoint of all time. Dr. Phi.
I got medals for my PowerPoints. That's how good they were.
I'll do my angry black woman voice for this. Mike Kipling, former sergeant, Royal Canadian Air Force, was serving in Kuwait 1998 when he refused the anthrax vaccine. He didn't think it was safe. They tried to court-martial. Trial Judge Colonel Guy, I don't know how I pronounce it, Braze, ruled in Kipling's favor, set precedents.
Yeah, I mean, the anthrax was never actually cleared by the FDA.
Wasn't that used for cows?
Oh, the thing about the vaccine, so there's a lot of issues. First of all, I got the anthrax vaccine. I got the smallpox vaccine. It is what it is. That anthrax vaccine is no fucking joke. It's like getting punched in the arm with knuckles of bees.
I know. I got one myself.
Yeah.
Nice.
But here's the problem with the COVID vaccine. Number one, it's not a vaccine. It doesn't have the actual virus in it. It does not make you immune to the virus. What it's supposed to do, it's supposed to make your symptoms less severe. Now, most people who get COVID don't even know they have it because they have no symptoms anyway.
Like me.
You're
you're getting an experimental, untested technology vaccine that's supposed to like fuck with your DNA in order to make you lessen your symptoms of a disease that more than half the people who get it don't even know they have it because they have no symptoms.
Yeah, 80%.
And the ones who do have it have mild symptoms.
Yep.
Really, it's only a danger to like 80-year-olds with comorbidities. So, and the fatality rate, even including all the old boomers, is less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a virus that's not deadly, especially if you're not old and you don't have cancer and you don't have one foot in the grave. You can get the actual virus and not even know it, or you could take the experimental vaccine. And here's the thing: it's like when it comes to these stories about the woman who got it and she got like Bell's palsy, or the guy who died the next day.
Comorbidities.
I'm a little bit skeptical. Well, I'm a little bit skeptical of those stories. I'm not worried about the people who died the next day. I'm worried about we don't know. This is an entirely new avenue of, whatever, like disease prevention. This whole technology of using proteins to, mutate your DNA to create antibodies for a disease, which isn't even in the vaccine. Now, this could potentially, if this technology works out, this could potentially be used to cure cancer. So, but here's the problem.
It could cure anything.
Yeah, but here again, this virus isn't deadly to basically everyone who's watching, unless you're like a 90-year-old boomer with all kinds of health problems, you could actually get actual COVID and be totally fine.
Yep.
So
You're
there's no
taking an
and then here's what's dumb. They're talking about like vaccine passports, and you have to prove you've been vaccinated. But the whole again, the vaccine doesn't make you immune. You could still get the virus. You could still transmit the virus even though you've been vaccinated. All the vaccine does is make it so that your symptoms are less severe. So whether I get the virus or whether I get the vaccine, it makes no difference. I can still transmit it. I can still have it. It doesn't, and I'm not going to show symptoms anyway because I'm a young, spry monkey. So the whole concept is dumb. It makes no sense. At best, it's just a way to make people feel better, so that maybe we can like the promise of reopening and getting back to normal. People are probably just trying to cut it whatever deal they can so the government will fuck off and let them get back to their life.
Yep.
But that's not even working.
We simply don't know the long-term consequences. And if you remember, like back in the day when the government was pushing asbestos and a bunch of other technologies that turned out we only found out years later, oh, it gives you cancer. Oh, it doesn't, like all these horrible things happen that we didn't know. Like these vaccines are only a couple months old. There's simply no way to know what the long-term consequences of this completely untested technology is for a virus that has a less than 1% mortality rate, and that most people who get it don't even have any symptoms at all. And the vaccine isn't even a vaccine. They actually had to change the definition of the word vaccine, adding a new definition so that this COVID vaccine is technically a vaccine, but it didn't even meet the old definition. So they had to change the word in real time,
Correct.
like 1984 style, to make it fit the new definition.
Right.
So
now,
I'm not getting it under any circumstances.
In regards to the whole coof thing, I get a physical done every summer. And I had a physical done last August. I got the results of all my blood work in September. And I had the antibody for the coof. And I never, ever had any of the symptoms.
No. And you're taking an experimental vaccine for a disease that 80% of the people who get it never show any symptoms, just so you can bump that up to 94%.
Correct.
Basically, like if you told a woman, here's this shot, here's your birth control. Now, you should probably still not have sex after you've had it because you'll probably still get pregnant. And, the same thing with your HPV vaccine. You'll probably still get it and spread it around to people. Do you honestly think people would take that shit?
Nope.
No, well, here's the thing: is if this was like a deadly as fuck disease like Ebola, and there's another. Okay, there's a lot of interesting strands, like little rabbit holes you go down. So this COVID is a bullshit disease with a less than 1% mortality rate, where most people don't even have any symptoms at all, and even the concept of asymptomatic spread is questionable because it's based on a Chinese woman in Germany who was believed to be asymptomatic, but it turns out she was taking cold medicine to suppress her symptoms. Uh-huh. So she did have symptoms. She's just taking cold medicine. So the entire basis of asymptomatic spread is actually not true, but it doesn't matter. It's part of the narrative. But
the fact is you can suppress your symptoms with NyQuil?
Yes, you can.
And we're worried about this?
Yes. Well, I don't know if you knew this. So coronavirus is not a new thing. It causes the common cold.
Yeah, I knew that.
And the common cold, and people who get the common cold are immune to COVID. Like the common cold is a vaccine for coronavirus because they're the same fucking thing. But let me give you a riddle. So we have this virus with a less than 1% mortality rate, and we're flipping our shit, mandating all these experimental vaccines. Yet, what about AIDS? What about Ebola? What about West Nile virus? What about all these actual fatal diseases? Like, how about so COVID, we're going to focus all on that, even though most people are under no risk of ever dying from it and probably will never even have a symptom in their life. They'll get it and not even realize it and be fine. But if you got Ebola, and Ebola was coming back, it was in the news a few months ago. Ebola has like a 50-50 shot of you dying. Like if someone throws up their blood on you, like Resident Evil style, you have a coin toss chance of dying.
Yep.
And yet no one did shit. There's no one's even talking about developing a vaccine for Ebola, even though it literally kills half the people who get it. but the one that kills less than 1%, and which 80% of people have no symptoms, we need to experiment on people with an untested. It's not just a new vaccine that hasn't gone through trials. This is an entirely different technology.
It's a new
And what's
technology
really
that
messed
fucks
up
with your
is
RNA.
right. Well, and the reason why is if you look at articles from last year, like around the summer of 2020, they couldn't find enough people. This is during the pandemic. This is June 2020. They couldn't find enough people to test the vaccines on because no one had the virus.
Yep.
They didn't know, like, so they admit that they don't even have the virus. They're just using like this RNA. They don't know what the long-term effects will be. The virus isn't deadly. Most people had it and didn't even realize it and didn't have any symptoms. This is ridiculous. And they're basically just dangling, hey, you want to get back to normal, right? You want to get rid of it, like, but they're already
Do what
talking
we
about
say.
keeping it forever. Like, and
Yeah, I know.
actually something, and I think I know why. I have a hypothesis about why they're doing this. It's to keep the inflation down because they're printing a shit ton of money, but yet the inflation isn't hitting the market. And the reason why the inflation isn't hitting the market is because people are saving it because they don't know if there's going to be a lockdown, if there's going to be a new strain, if they're going to get laid off. So all this uncertainty when it comes to the economy, people are saving their money either in savings accounts or they're investing their money. So this is what's crazy. You can look this up. I'm not bullshitting you. If you look up what the Fed redefined the M2, so the M2 is like how you measure the money supply. They literally just took out savings accounts from the money supply. They're just not going to count them anymore. So all that money that's in savings accounts just doesn't exist as far as the money supply goes. Why? Because we said so.
Yep.
That's the way it's been forever, but now the Fed has decided not to count savings accounts. So all that money's in savings accounts is just off the books. But look at what's happening to asset prices. You have real estate, the stock market, cryptocurrency, it's all going up. Why? Because people are not spending their money. They're investing it and saving it because they don't know what's going to happen. If the government ever ends the lockdowns and everybody feels comfortable and they no longer fear for getting laid off or a new strain or another lockdown, it's all over. We can all breathe a sigh of relief. All that money is going to hit the economy.
Yep.
And it's going to cause massive inflation.
Yeah.
It's going to cause inflation, the likes of which Americans have not seen before. Like, it's going to make the 70s look like the roaring 20s.
Correct. And then and then the shit's going to hit the fan. Just like I said.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, it will. Let's move on to the next super chat.
But that's why, but here's the thing. What if, come on a journey with me. What if the government, because right now the government is basically milking this because they can print money for free. They're printing trillions of dollars. Like the entire 2008 housing collapse bailout was less than $1 trillion. It was like 600 or 700 billion. We're going to print another $3 trillion after we just printed a $2 trillion bailout before another $2 trillion bailout. We're basically printing all the money.
No. We have printed 40% of our money supply in the past year.
Right, but here's the thing, as long as everybody's scared of coronavirus, the inflation isn't happening. So the government is basically in like this sweet spot where they could potentially print as much money as they want, buy anything they want, pay down their debts, literally do whatever they want, and not suffer any ill effects of it. Because normally you print a bunch of money, you cause inflation.
Correct.
But everybody's hoarding. The only inflation you're seeing is in asset prices. But you're not seeing it in consumer goods because people aren't spending, they're saving. So the government can basically print as much money as they want. They could potentially do anything. They could pay off the national debt if they wanted. Just print all the money and retire all the bonds if they wanted to.
All right.
And all that inflation would go into asset prices.
All right. We have to move on to the next super chat.
The second they let the...
What was I saying about brevity?
No, man. Let's move on to some more super chats. We got to get through these.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bore
We're
you
about
with
2.5 hours in, bro.
It's all right. We got to end this pretty soon, so...
Yeah, because it's 10:21 here, so I'm just letting you know time change and all that shit. What do we got here? Ohio trucker watching with my dad. Keep up the good work, boys. Thank you very much. Mr. Lion, $20 donation. Thank you very much. Pop, do you think you could have been successful in today's woke military?
No.
No. I could answer that one.
No.
Shit.
No, fuck no. No.
Talbot Links. Glad to see Turd Fling and Monkey out and about lately. Haven't been able to catch him with all the craziness in China lately. Wish I could drop some Everclear shots and give my Trump voice. Grab the day, friends. That's okay. I can do my own Trump voice, but apparently, according to Channel 1-800-DUMB, I have to do a Schwarzenegger voice. Blessings to Papa, Blakey, and Turd Fling and Monkey. Much respect for many years. Hey, Blake, can you give me a Schwarzenegger voice? You're welcome. Hey, Pop, can you please throw a straw at Blake? No, he can't, but I can throw one at him.
Stop, man. God damn you.
You're welcome. Oh, you can throw one back.
Sure.
Come on. Did you grab it?
You guys make an adorable
Oh, you
couple.
suck! Dude, it's like if Joe Biden tried to throw the opening pitch at the first MLB game.
Hey, man. Hey, what do you want from me?
Wah.
Hey, I'm showing my socks.
Yeah, shit happens. Embudo. Hey, Turd Fling and Monkey, tell them my story. Isn't it Embudo?
Oh.
Unfortunately, we are way past the point of no return, speaking from experience.
Budo's from Peru, and so if you look up at the history of Peru, basically imagine like what happened in Chile with Pinochet, except the Democrats were in power, and
I know.
it went horribly wrong.
I know. I actually crossed paths with some of the the Shining Path and the FARC guerrillas down there, so I know exactly what you're talking about. They're brutal motherfuckers.
And basically, Embudo came to America to flee the Shining Path, and now he's saying history repeat itself, and he is not a happy camper.
Correct. All right, that's the next one.
Jail. The GD Bacon 556 documented the 1,000th commie plate in Washington State yesterday, chiefly in Seattle. The California exodus is real.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. California, New York, Michigan, basically the top 5 states where you're seeing an exodus from right now, ironically, all had the highest number of nursing home deaths. Gee, I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, just asking for a friend. You know, I mean, it is what it is. William O'Neill. I already read that one earlier. Never mind. Dario. Not to be confused with Argento, who used to be a good director until he decided to become obsessed with his own daughter's tits. Not like that's weird or anything.
That's fucked up.
I love Suspiria, but dude, Dario Argento, you have a weird fascination with your own daughter's jubblies. I love you guys. I consider Turd Fling and Monkey Messenger, and you my MGTOW mentors.
Sweet nectar.
TFM, the Red Pill Grief Cycle, probably saved my life after the downs of my divorce. Oh, there's one for you, good sir.
Yeah.
What are we up to?
I'm happy to help.
350.
Glad it made a difference.
Yes. That's why we're here. We're here to do that. We're here to do the Lord's work. Arrow Shogun. To be frank, TFM, Florida's gun ownership rate is 1 in 3. The entire population versus the National Guard. Yeah, the latter can get fucked, but the former might cuck out before the first shot is fired. Right now I have zero faith in the right, but we'll see.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to be wrong. I will eat my words if I'm proven wrong. I desperately want to be wrong about this.
Me too.
Cabragoon Cabulus donated $5, feeling gloom hearing from Turd Fling and Monkey, but was re-energized when Pop answered about going to Florida. Good luck.
Yeah.
Kiro Ninja 00, welcome back to the chat, good sir. People will do anything if they are desperate and hungry. Look into Cuba. They are attacking police with knives, bats, and the cops have guns. TFM is sort of wrong about guns confiscation. They will hide their guns. Look at prohibition of the 1920s. You know, I didn't even think about that.
I'm going to be doing a whole video on cashing your shit, so yeah, it could happen.
Yeah! Fan I Am, not to be confused with Sam I Am, I suppose, donated $5 Australian. These predictions sound exactly like the 2012 series Revolution. Watch it! Red Dread, $5. Been waiting forever for this live stream to happen. Well, we're happy we could deliver. TFM, thank you for joining us.
Amen.
Bailey Chasteen donated $5. I suspect the blues and greens are going to be useful idiots and should be treated accordingly.
That's usually what happens.
Yes. What are they called? Useful idiots, right?
Useful idiots
All
are the
useful
cannon
idiots?
fodder in the beginning.
Everywhere. Hayden Johnson donated $5. Pop, TFM is a soldier too.
Yep, he's an Intel guy.
You kind of knew that.
Yeah.
Riggs!
No.
Now, were you an Intel?
I mean,
Were you an Intel analyst? What did you do?
Yeah, I was an analyst.
Okay, because I have the
I was
35 Fox MOS as well.
Yeah. I don't want to I don't know. We may have been in Iraq the same time, so I don't want to talk too much about it.
It's okay.
So you'd be like, is that tiny Pakistani midget and some BDUs over there?
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Lord Donut donated $4.99. Pop, do you think the military would actually follow through on the type of orders being discussed, gun confiscation, etc.?
Probably not.
I think so, and here's my evidence. Between World War I and World War II, there was a protest from World War I vets who were basically protesting because they were given bonds, and they wanted. This was during the Depression.
Yes.
They wanted the bonds basically cashed out early because they were suffering, and the government ordered the active duty military to clear them out, and they ended up killing a few of them and clearing them out. They didn't even hesitate.
MacArthur.
And these were veterans.
MacArthur did that. Yep.
Right. So it's like if the military doesn't, I mean, they didn't be like, fuck you. That's I'll never run tanks over my fellow. No, they did it. They follow orders. That's what the military does.
To an extent, you're
This idea.
correct.
The idea the military is going to no, I'm going to take my oath seriously. No, that's fantasy land.
Did you
people
know that
take their oaths.
Did you know that there was a platoon and a half of guys who would not serve under MacArthur at all because he killed their families?
I did know that. No, the thing is that at best case,
No, these soldiers were drafted. They went over to Saipan or whatever it is, the Philippines. And they literally were like, fuck this guy. I will not serve under this general. You can throw me in jail. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Fuck him. And they literally transferred him over to Europe. They would have nothing to do with General MacArthur. And they got a pass.
Oh, well, that's fine. But this is my point. You do see cases where the police or the military will basically say, I refuse that order, or they'll turn in their badge or they'll do something. What you don't see them turning their guns around and saying, I will defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and there being any kind of incident like that. So best case scenario, when the military is ordered to do some fucked up shit, the best you're going to get are people refusing the order, but they're not going to turn the guns on the generals and say, on your knees, bitch. That's not going to happen.
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Let's move on to the next one.
We're going to move on because it's almost 10:30.
Yeah.
Channel 1-800-DUMB donated $5 New Zealand. Pop, is that an All Blacks jersey?
It is.
It is. Rad. Turd Flinging Monkey's best vid, in my opinion, was She'll Never Love You. And always fight to the end, lads.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first big video, when I was brand new, back in 2015.
Hey, sometimes you peak early, man. There's no shame in that.
You're right, though. She'll never love you.
I've made some videos since then.
Well, Rules of a Gunfight and Where Have All the Good Men Gone are still our two biggest videos. Both of them have 500,000 views.
Yep.
And we're still trying to claw our way back to that level of greatness.
Yes, we are.
I think we've gotten better, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, my best videos weren't even offensive. They got basically taken down from YouTube just because they were popular. I didn't get a strike for them or anything. Just deleted them.
Oh, exactly. That's exactly what happened with Don't Marry Her, is because it was extremely popular. It was very milquetoast. We were getting 20, 30,000 hits in the first couple of days that it was up, which is really good for us. Hate speech.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
Have you seen my feminism pitch meeting video?
No.
Where it's a riff on that one YouTube guy who does the movie pitch meetings. Where he's anyway, it got a hate speech strike, and it was blowing up too. It was very popular, and then of course it's just fuck YouTube in the current year,
Exactly. There's a dude that my buddy Andy has introduced me to. He has a channel called Dominic's Flicks. He's not for everybody, but every once in a while he cracks a really hilarious joke. And apparently recently he did a review of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and he said that the opening sequence of the monkeys beating each other with clubs was reminiscent of a bunch of black dudes having a barbecue. I lost my shit. I was like, that is so racist, but it's really funny.
Hey, look, man, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Tech Raider 999. Why not fighting for children's education? It is a textbook Animal Farm generational war.
It is.
Also, why not consider separation within the union legally for red states?
Well, that might happen. We'll see.
But there is no way to legally, like, I mean, that's why we had the first Civil War.
You're absolutely correct.
There is no mechanism to peacefully break apart.
Nope.
Unless the federal government is so weak they just can't stop you, which I don't see that being the case. If you try to leave, the government will stop you. Like you have to. You're going to have to, if you want to leave the Union, you're going to have to fight a civil war and you're going to have to win. And the 14th Amendment, after the first Civil War was fought, stripped the states of all their power to prevent another civil war. So now, I mean, the South lost the first Civil War, and now, you're trying to do it. Now you're basically playing with like half your tools that you had before. The states are even weaker now than they were, much weaker now than they were in the 1800s.
Agreed.
And now the federal government is far bigger and far stronger than it was in the 1800s.
Thanks,
and
women.
There is no legal mechanism to just do this peacefully.
It will not be done peacefully. It will not be done peacefully.
Never. Nope.
No.
Kevin donated $5. Gun control is impossible as technology advances and more people can fabricate anything. I will throw this in here. 3D printers. It will be different.
Yes.
Real Jiffy resident donated. Sorry, cops or others. They get crossbow and wall ornaments, other things. Not here, but can still reach. Go snitch. Lack of English. 19 Delta 30 Civic HVAC tech plumber now.
All right.
I think that's what that says.
I don't know what any of that meant.
Join the club. Knuckles donated $10. Pop, please remind TFM that 5% of the U.S. population is 16.6 million people.
Yes.
That's true enough. Redacted super chatted 1787. Though misattributed to Titler, the democracy is always temporary in nature. It simply cannot exist as a permanent form of government.
Nope. It always bankrupts and turns into mob rule.
Yes, direct democracy is not a good idea, no matter how many people want to convince you that it is, because mob rule is not good.
But the Greeks and the Romans had, they had voting bodies, but they also didn't allow women to vote. They even had slaves.
Uh-huh.
Even the birthplace of democracy had slavery and ruling classes. It's not democracy per se; it's universal suffrage. Because there's always more losers than winners. There's always more takers than givers. So once you give everyone the vote and once it's majority rule, you basically just handed your government to the people at the bottom. All they're going to do is vote themselves your money.
You are the weakest link. Bye-bye. Cabragoon Cabulous donated $20. Thank you very much. They'll come for him in registered states first. Sad to say, but the first massacre of Blue, that laying under a few citizens who said, no. Police unions will say no more, and local government will say, pluck this. Pluck Jotato.
Next one.
That's a dude who knows how to censor himself on YouTube. Andrew Thorsten, equality is a myth just like Jesus. Well,
hey!
Jesus actually did exist.
Hey!
There are historical records that prove he existed.
Jesus was a zombie!
Whether or not you think he was the son of God is completely irrelevant. He did exist. And there are historical documents that prove it.
He's a zombie.
Pat Wax Daddy.
All right, goat belly.
Sheriff's last line of defense for the U.S. No Texan will disarm another Texan. U.S. will not go to war over the First Amendment or social issues. Second Amendment and taxes will.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Texas is going to be blue in 10 years.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. CJ super chatted $5. Missed the new awesomeness. 2 security guards watched an Asian lady get BTFO'd outside. One moved the cameras. The other locked the entrance door.
That doesn't shock. I'm not surprised.
Wow, that's some messed up shit right there.
I'm not surprised.
Nor am I.
It's a liability issue. If you try to do the right thing, you're probably going to be canceled or fired or
sued,
brought up on some charges.
Yeah.
So it's just better just to walk away.
Yeah, no such thing as a good Samaritan anymore. T Greeny 1 donated $5. Is TFM's next toy review going to be a review of the drinking straw?
God damn it. God damn it. You guys are
What,
sick
this?
bastards. Ah!
Ah!
Bastard.
Yes, I am. Sir Sir Alfred A. Sir Francis Alfred. I don't know. I donated $15. I don't see a comment there, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
B989X donated $5. This show is fun. I'm laughing my ass off over here. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
Thank you very much.
Randall donated $5. The monkey saved my life 2 years ago. Thanks, bro.
That's 2 for you, monkey.
2 for
Welcome.
you, man. Nathan Scott
Glad to
donated $4.99. TFM, give him your turf rant, please and thanks. Looking forward to tomorrow's stream. Thanks for bringing TFM on, fellas. He's one of the OGs. So to Undead.
All right.
I don't know what the turf rant. Are you talking about like the
TERF.
Oh, so yeah, those are the basically. So I don't know if you knew this. The trans community is absolutely obliterating feminism.
Correct.
And it's accomplishing things that the MRAs would never accomplish in their wildest dreams. So if we all just embrace the bacon flag of victory, we can basically. There's no reason not to. There's nothing. There's nothing the TERFs can do. Because here's the thing, feminism, they basically have to eat the whole ass now.
Uh-huh.
So they rode on the progressive train so they could pretend to be equal to men, and they benefited from it for 100 years. But now they want to stop the train because now men are putting on dresses and pretending to be women, and now just like with sports and whatnot, they're blowing them the fuck out.
Oh, so
And
wait
they
a minute.
can't
Wait a
compete.
minute. So that saying anything you can do, I can do better, only works if the men don't cross the picket line and become pseudo women. Because the minute they do that, they fracture skulls. They're prettier than them. They're just crushing them at every turn. Is that what you're saying?
Right. But the thing is, the TERFs are trying. So the TERFs are trying to stop the trans community because they're getting their asses kicked.
Uh-huh.
But they literally can't. They're in a paradox because what can they say about trans women? So they're like, oh, well, they're not real women. Well, how could you say that?
Because they're not.
Aren't men and women? If men and women are equal, which is the entire premise of feminism,
Uh-huh.
then how is a trans woman not a real woman? How are they better? They're not better, smarter, stronger. They're not anything because men and women are equal. So either TERFs have to admit that men and women aren't equal, therefore, basically, they have to admit feminism was bullshit, which they can't do, or they have to accept that trans women are real women and get their skulls fractured in MMA fighting and get owned in basketball and basically get their asses kicked in every sport known to man.
Correct.
And the best part, here's the best part. I saw this today. The feminists are getting canceled left and right whenever they stand up against the trans people. So they're talking about forcing boards to have men and women, like trying to make more equality in the boards. And someone asked a feminist, like a checkmark feminist on Twitter, is she be comfortable with 50% men and 50% trans women? And she said yes. So
Good luck with that.
I'm dead serious. We have what the MRAs could never dream of in their wildest dreams. It has been laid out for us like a red carpet. All you have to do is change a letter on your driver's license, and you can Thanos snap feminism away.
I love that.
Isn't it amazing?
Like it never even happened.
Wow.
And you don't have to get the surgery. Any state that tells you have to get your dick cut off or you have to be on hormones, they're full of shit.
And it's their own fault.
If you get your federal passport, and if your state is Real ID compliant, they have to make your ID match your passport. So even if they have some weird state law, like you live in a red state, and they're like, no, you got to get your dick cut off and everything, just get your passport updated at the federal level, and then tell them to go fuck themselves and update your stuff. Once you have your driver's license, once you get your driver's license and your paperwork up to date, you can go to HR, get it updated, and I've challenged people. If you've done this and anything bad has happened, I want to know about it. No one has ever reported anything bad happening. I've had people who had they were instantly promoted They changed their gender and then they got instant promotion because they needed more diversity, but they needed people who were qualified. So when the person came out as a trans woman, all of a sudden they got moved up to upper management with a pay raise for doing the
Yeah.
same work. I've had people who were basically falsely accused, and then basically that was their get out of jail free card. I had people who had they were about to lose their scholarship, and then they came out as trans, and everything was fine.
Wow.
Like it's a cheat code for life, and feminism has no. It's like the scene in like the Two Towers where it's like you have no power here. Like it's like that. You just wave the bacon flag of victory in their face, and they'll just like hiss and burn like a vampire. They can't stand against the power of the bacon.
It just cracks me up, man, that at this point in time, men are officially better at everything, including being a woman, because a dude in Nevada just won a women's beauty contest.
Yes, it did. I just mentioned that.
So, look, it's like I didn't make the rules. Like
And that's the best part of it. They did.
Make gender a social construct, and you make it just whatever you identify as. Okay, so I identify as a woman, and and the thing is you can dress however you want. You can use whatever pronouns you want, because no one has the right to tell you what a real woman is. So if you want to have like a big scraggly beard and wear like a business suit and you want to, whatever, you're still a woman, because how dare you try to tell me what a real woman is?
You can't impose your traditional gender norms around here. And that's what really cracks me up, is that feminists are the ones who set this boulder chasing Indiana Jones through the cave in motion. They're the ones who insisted that men and women are physically and mentally equal. The next logical step was biological sex as a social construct, gender as a social construct, just because, if it exists in nature and yet we have to create language in order to describe it, you can somehow finagle that into somehow it's a social construct. And here we are. It's their own fault.
But it doesn't matter. Look, these are just words. The fundamental truth of what, a human with an XY chromosome or a human with an X chromosome, and the physical and hormonal differences between them, that's objective. The word we use is immaterial. So
exactly.
You have this cheat code. You have this basically this option in front of you, and the Supreme Court has already deemed that trans people are a protected group. So that special list of people that get all these privileges and you can force them to bake the cake and all that stuff, you can now, regardless of your skin tone, regardless of your genitalia, you can now get on that list by changing a letter on your driver's license that no one will ever care about. Like I've never had any point in my life where anyone checked my ID. They don't care. And even when they do check your ID, they're looking for your picture and your birth date to card you to go to a club or something. They're not looking at your gender. No one cares. It never comes up.
All right.
So
we got to start winding up here.
You want.
We're at 2 hours and almost 45 minutes.
Yeah, we still have a lot of super chats to get through.
But this is really important. I really think people out there, I want you to look in your heart and ask yourself if you too are a masculine presenting transgendered lesbian, because you might find that there was a masculine presenting transgendered lesbian inside you all along, and you should live your truth.
Well, that's called gay sex with a witness. I'm just saying.
Oh my Lord.
No, I'm really gay for men with vaginas. I'm all about men with vaginas,
as long as they're real. As long as they're real vaginas and not, inverted windsocks that have hair and pus and stuff growing out of them. Oh, you don't like that, Pop? You don't like pus?
Yeah, I'm not talking post-op frankenpussies. I'm talking about
frankenpussies.
Vaginas.
God, that's so nasty.
Frankenpussies, dude, that's genius. Trademark that.
I gotta write that down. Frankenpussies.
Oh, yes.
It's going in the book, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to popularize it.
It's
because
good
it has two meanings. You have the Frankenstein meaning where it's cobbled together with body parts, but also a frank is a hot dog.
That's true
so
story.
It's a Franken-pussy, where you're splitting open the hot dog and it's turning into a pussy. So it's got many layers. It's the deeper you go, the worse it gets. Like an actual Franken-pussy. It's just all full of pus and hair down there.
I coined a term recently on the newest Ride and Roast, which if you're just only watching on YouTube, you haven't seen it yet. Newest Ride and Roast was called Rise of the FOMO-sexuals.
Oh, yeah.
FOMO, because women are justifying infidelity and polyamory and all this other bullshit because of fear of missing out. FOMO, FOMO. So
That's
FOMO
always been
sexuals.
female nature, though. Like if
Yep.
you look at human ecology, women are biologically attuned. Like if you look at other species that share characteristics like humans, the females are always promiscuous. That's literally why patriarchy was developed in animals. Because the women, they need men to take care of them and basically be responsible for them. And so the man controls her sexuality because these women are naturally promiscuous. That's the deal. Like, you want me to be responsible for you? I'm going to control your sexuality. And that's worked for millennia. And then we decided to liberate women. So, of course, they're going to be promiscuous. That's what they're biologically hardwired to do.
Yep.
I would say so.
All right, let's move on here. Console Peasant Rescue. It's a very intricate screen name. Donated $1.49. Dash Desi donated $5 Canadian. So it's like 18 cents. Hey, boys. Hey, Pop. Know anything about the Kislar knives? I don't know squat about them.
No, I don't.
No? Okay, well,
No,
that was
right
easy.
there.
Hey, Monkey, nice to hear your views. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
Tony Ruiz, you guys should try collabing with Fresh and Fit. Actually, we just met Myron over the weekend. He's
Yes,
a cool
we
dude.
did.
He's a real nice dude. I'll reach out to him, see if he's interested. Didn't he talk to you about coming down to Miami to be on the podcast at some point?
Yes.
Sweet. So we may be doing some streaming from Miami pretty soon.
We'll see.
We'll see. Console Peasant Rescue again. Thank you very much. Jimmy Bones with a $25 donation. Thank you so much, good sir. I'm glad that you could stop puking long enough to make a donation and moderate the chat. Spoot, a curse word used by the 1990s cartoon show The Angry Beavers. Is this a real thing? When you coom in a woman's arse and she farts out a little bit of sperm, get a drinking straw.
Oh, God. It's nasty.
Spoot, huh?
Spoot.
You should write that one down. Alpha Dog Elite, $14.99. Turd Fling and Monkey, your video on Chirin, Chirin, Chirin.
Oh, Chirin. No,
Chirin.
that was part of my Red Pill grief cycle. So there was an anime called the Ringing Bell or the Golden Bell or something like that, and it had a lamb called Chirin, who basically his mother was killed, and he basically confronted the wolf that killed his mother and like demanding that he teach him how to be a wolf because he was tired of being a sheep. But then he grew up and he ended up killing the wolf. But then the sheep basically were afraid of him. And so he had to basically leave the sheep. And it's basically like a metaphor for self-actualization and the red pill and what have you, where, you want to, you try to solve the problems, facing the herd. But then by confronting these problems, you become something that the herd is afraid of, and then the herd rejects you. So the very people you're trying to help end up casting you out, like a leper.
I'm familiar with that, actually.
Yep. Mocking Moniker donated $5. The reason why communism always falls is because God created Mother Nature to restore the moral order. It always happens. Actually, the reason why communism always falls is science.
Correct.
And to believe in communism, you basically have to think that Darwin was completely full of shit.
No,
and we know he wasn't.
It's science and human nature.
Human nature, yes. If you believe in the origin of the species, if you believe that competition and selectivity is what promotes the perpetuation of a species, you cannot believe in communism. If you think you can believe in both, you're deluding yourself. Moving on.
All right.
Pat Wax Daddy donated again. You have to whack off wearing leaf press-on nails and rub a wig on your stomach. Oh, God.
God damn, you nasty bastard.
That's very nasty bastard. Here, have a drinking straw.
Fuck you,
I don't
man.
even know what that means.
I don't either.
No, I know. I served with that guy, and he's got a crazy sense of humor.
Right.
I like it. I approve. Console Peasant Rescue donated again. Damn, now we got to get our SRP or we rainbow dudes.
Look, I don't know if you haven't felt the touch of our Lord and Savior spinning robot pussy, have you?
I have not.
Oh, that's what that means.
That's you. Look, I can't put into words. The spinning robot pussy that can be told is not the eternal spinning robot pussy. It has to be experienced. You have to feel it
Like a basket
in your
fuck.
heart and on your cock at 400 RPM, and only then will you know true bliss.
Yeah, it's like a basket fuck, I guess.
Basket fuck. Miro Eller donated POV cowgirl for the win. I guess we're talking about Ornpay.
Yeah.
Tracy Wilborn donated.
Back when I used to watch Ornpay, I enjoy like the VR and the POV. But honestly, if you get a doll, you don't need to, like, you can just have sex with the doll. You don't need to worry about porn anymore. You don't need to look at pictures anymore.
Yeah.
Enough said. Tracy
Just
Wilborn.
I know a guy.
And I know guys who know guys, you know.
I know a guy who can hook you up.
Tracy Wilborn donated $308. I think that my earlier donation got lost in the hubbub, so I'll ask again. I just bought a couple of copies of the Ranger Handbook, one for me and one for another buddy. Is the FM 3121 Guerrilla Warfare and Special Forces Operations Manual worth buying?
It's not that expensive, so yes, it is.
There you go. 18-wheeler. Hey, guys, if Turd Fling and Monkey is going to Alaska, if the S hits the F, Pop, where would you go?
I don't know.
Well, you just bought a whole bunch of land, right?
I bought some land up north, and I'm looking to buy more in Texas.
Winning. A Real Jiffy resident donated again. Thank you so much. Capricorn Cabulous donated $10. I've boinked many feminine. Believe me, their ship flies like turds when an alpha with good game gives them the 10. That's how we will be saved. They're confusingly craving a badass dude. I guess that explains the whole feminists against the stunning and brave religion of peace kind of thing.
Yep.
They want a man who can dominate them, who's unapologetically masculine.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Just saying. After when I started doing this and was very public about my views about it, most of the women who ducked out of my life were women who I had given the 10 dick to, and then they were just mad. How dare you have views different than me? How dare you think that street harassment isn't a real thing?
Wah.
Really? Okay.
Next one.
Rogues Tavern, $3.96.
Think.
Great show tonight. Have a beer on the tavern.
All right.
Will do. Suck Cesspool Endeavors, one of our wrenches. Thank you so much. Look up luciferase and hydrogel nanobots developed by DARPA, delivered by a microneedle patch vax. Okay, I will copy that and Google it.
Sounds kind of creepy.
Deradus is a new name, if I remember correctly. Pop, what's the number of not zeroed guys so far? Thanks for keeping them up. 350, right?
350.
350. Polska Bob donated again. Blake, make sure TFM takes us out with the Pimp's Payer. Okay. Well,
The sprayer.
Yeah, when
I do that
prayer.
on Wednesdays.
He said he wrote Payer, but I guess he missed the R.
Oh,
So we'll do that at the end of the stream here. We're going to try to get through the rest of these here real quick. Mark Henderson donated $20. Thank you so much. Add Coltane to this discussion, and it would be awesome. 10 hours long, but awesome. Bryce Gasper donated $50. Thank you so much. Nice to see Turd Fling and Monkey again. He is the one that gave me the red pill.
All right.
I hope he gave it to you, with a cup of water and out of the palm of his hand and not off the tip of his dick. But hey, I'm not judging. Henry P. Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Henry P. donated $10. How do you guys feel about semen retention? Are there any benefits to it? Well, if there were benefits to it, then your body wouldn't try to kick it out if you didn't do it yourself.
Not only that, but like if you think where does nofap lead, its logical conclusion is you suck in another man's dick. So if you think your semen gives you magical powers, then obviously ingesting other men's semen would give you even more magical powers.
That's
I believe nofap
so disgusting.
is a giant gay conspiracy.
God,
you all like thinking about the magic of semen, and then be like, "Oh, bro, like I'll hook you up, bro. You want some of my magic? Oh, I'll hook you up." And they're gonna come in your mouth, and they're gonna make you think that your cum gives them magical powers, and they're just like fooling you into sucking their dick because they're gay.
It's not gay. It's not cum. It's bazooka juice. Just remember.
That's just nasty, man.
It's right up there with pineapple and orange and apple and
God.
No, not coming doesn't do anything. You don't get any benefits of not coming.
No. In fact, as far as I understand, the average amount of times that you should be releasing a round from the chamber is roughly 18 to 20 times a month, because if you don't, prostate problems. Not that I know anybody that has had problems with that or anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Look, if you have like an addiction, that's a problem. But it's like anything. Like when you're hungry, you should eat. When you have to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. If you're going too much, or you're going, that's the issue. But you got to keep the pipes flowing. You can't just like close them off because you believe you're going to get magical powers from sexual transmutation.
Exactly.
Because then you're going to be sucking a dick. But like, I need the juice.
God, that's nasty, bro.
Like Scotty says, the more they overtake the plumbing, the easier it is to stop up the drain. Ben RP donated $10. Thank you so much. Miro Ella with another $5. I just want to stop wearing a mask, damn it. Me too.
Me too.
That's why when I went to Texas and I got to go to a store without a mask on, restaurants, I actually felt like an American again. It was quite fantastic. 18 Wheeler donated $5. Love the show. TFM might leave and go to Alaska when the shit hits the fan. Pop, where would you go if the shit hits the fan? So that's two people who asked the exact same question. We already answered that, so we're going to move on.
All right.
Shameless Dab. Hey, you motherfucker. You donated to our show. In fact, we sponsored your music. Thank you so much for tuning in. $5. Apparently, drinking a lot of tequila turns me into a Scotsman.
Really?
That's fantastic. We're going to have to play some golf.
Yes.
Just
But it's
whip a goal
Mexican
into a
alcohol.
golfer hole.
Does that turn you Scottish?
It turns me Scottish. I don't know what it is. The ape man used in a Space Odyssey were my uncles, so Dom isn't wrong. Shameless Dab was a funny motherfucker. It's like if the Snuggles bear banged Tupac or something. B989X donated $10. Yeah, the first BPM show, Pop, Blake, and Monkey show. We need a guy with an R on these shows so it can be the PBR show. Pop's Brew Ribbon. That'd be fantastic. Richard Rojas donated $20. Thank you so much. The way to protect yourself is by purchasing assets, stocks, cryptocurrencies, etc. The problem with stocks is that the stock market is rigged between dark pools and the fail to deliver of shares. Cryptocurrencies rule.
Well, we'll see.
We will see exactly how that goes. King Vegeta. That sounds like it could be a little bit weird.
I think you meant Vegeta.
Vegeta.
Do you not watch anime? Am I the only weeb here?
I'm too busy making content to watch content, so it's just kind of how I
roll. I don't watch that much anime. It's just not my thing.
You disgust me.
I'm just saying that, bro, it could be worse. Love you guys and go Bruins. So this guy's from Boston, which means that Pocahontas is his fucking senator. And yet he's going to come in here with a name like King Vegeta. Shit.
Shit.
Dr. Vi, $5 Canadian. With regard to Texas going blue, isn't the majority of Californians moving to large cities like Austin rather than the rural areas? That is true.
I really don't know how that's all going to play out. I just don't know.
It's somewhat uncharted. We'll see.
We'll see how everything pans out. I mean,
my goal is to not be here.
No one here is Nostradamus, so we'll just see how things plan out in the future.
Yep.
It's a Mario super chatted $5 Australian. Direct democracy can work in specific circumstances, eh?
No.
E.g. Switzerland, only because they're a small homogeneous population and well-educated, opposite of the USA. No.
In order for direct democracy to work, you have to have very small numbers, and everybody has to basically have skin in the game. Like they have to be like a hunter-gatherer society where everybody's role is very clearly defined and expectations are very clearly defined, and everybody has skin in the game and everybody's working towards the greater good. That could work. But that's such a you can't. It's not scalable. That's the problem. Direct democracy could work on a very small unit. It can't work. You can't scale it up because you run into free riders and all kinds of reasons.
Yeah, you get the system surfers.
Yeah, not like we know anything about that or anything.
Yeah, I know.
People asking for reparations despite the fact that they get over $360 billion worth in welfare every year. Like we did those numbers or anything. Check out Chappelle's World on Alt Tech.
They just want more. It's just more welfare. Even though it's the welfare dependence that's the problem. You know, you can't do
Yep.
anything about it. Honestly, like you can't do anything. All you can do is throw money at it until the money runs out, and then
Yep.
watch them all eat each other.
Yeah, well,
That's all you can do.
well, we've been going now for 3 hours. We're gonna have to wrap
We're
this
going to
up.
wrap it up. Ascension donated $5. I love this dude because he always has good jokes. What's the best thing about dating a homeless chick?
What?
You can drop her off anywhere.
You can drop off anywhere.
The Bacon 223. Drinking straw turned Frankengina.
Oh God.
Surplus Karma. Popp and Turd streaming. Wow. I got beer money for Popp on this one. Keep up the great work. Thank you all very much.
Amen.
CJ. So semen retention equals wizards trading magic spells. Oscar Dominguez donated $10. Keep up the good work. TFM response video to the PragerU video on Is Marriage Good for Men started me on my red pill journey.
Nice.
So
There's
you
another
got it.
video that really blew up. Actually, there was an article written about me for that video
Oh, really?
in Federalist. Yeah, in the Federalist. You might still find it if you Google.
Was
the
it
Federalist
good or bad?
Oh well, yeah, they're never on my side.
I'm
What's
just
funny
asking.
is the thing I'm most known for, if you Google my name, is photoshopping smiles on Captain Marvel on Twitter before I got kicked off.
Nice.
That's what I'm famous for, of all the things I've done.
I just noticed this. What's the best thing about banging an Amish chick? You don't have to worry about calling her the next morning.
Nice.
Buck Star Chaser, $10. I'm so happy to see all the flaccid a-holes raging in the chat tonight. This is the first live show to earn my monies. TFM is the big brain cannonball in this pool. Much entertained.
Amen.
Thank you for coming. Starscream 1540 donated $5. Have you heard about YouTube hiding the dislike numbers? Yes.
Yeah.
But only if the people who are posting the video are leftists. Something like the White House.
Yeah,
The
it's mostly
inaugural-
like it's for Biden. They're basically just propping Biden up, which he needs it. The guy's like dying of fucking Alzheimer's. So
The inauguration numbers were just, oh my God, he was getting ratioed into the fucking Stone Age. It was so bad.
Yes, he was.
it doesn't see when you can steal elections. It doesn't matter what the people think. Your permission
Basically.
and consent is no longer required.
You're absolutely correct.
Yes, I'm with you on that 100%. What do we got here? King Vegeta again. UCLA Bruins, F Boston. Okay, all right, I stand corrected on that one. I didn't know there were other Bruins
All right.
out in there as well. All right, I think we got everybody.
I think so.
I think we're done. So what is the Pimp's Prayer, Turd Flinging Monkey?
Oh, so let us bow our heads and say the pimp's prayer. Lord, have mercy on the soul of this bitch. Guide my pimp hand to make it strong, Lord, that she might learn a hoe's place. Amen.
All right, Popp, safety briefing.
All right. We got God on the Stick Day coming up. So don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. If you have to fight, don't go to the ground. If somebody pulls out a knife, you must accept you've already been cut. Carry a cell phone and bail money and flush the condom. Never leave it behind.
Absolutely. And remember, Toxic Male tells you to always separate from your cocaine from your powdered sugar because the bake sale called and all the children killed themselves.
That's a bad thing.
It wasn't good.
Nah.
Oh my God.
I know, right? It was bad. Y'all,
All right.
Trip.
y'all have a good night. Thank y'all for tuning in. Turd Flinging Monkey, thank you for coming with us on the show.
Thanks, bro.
All right. Anytime.
All right, man. Thank you for calling in. All right.